and you know that pastor is not in that other way you think. So, as I said, after this meeting, this is the last event I have. I am going back home. I have no intentions of going to sleep in the doghouse or in the DSQ. And my wife decides that I need to explain exactly what I meant by girlfriends. Pastor, if I need a recommendation to give me. Anyway, thank you so much, wonderful people. Thank you for being here. And I want to take very few minutes. First of all, I love this meeting and I love the gatherings we have had here because we have met as Kenyans. My brothers who have traveled across the country, I'm very, very grateful. I introduced Mwaura and his dear wife last night, and a number of people who have come along, who have been working with us in trying to put this together and ensuring that we begin a conversation. My friend, Dr. Onyango, Omari, and your dear wife from California, and many of you people who've had long stories and our lives have interacted in various ways. So I'll be playing and I'll start with a very simple story. 2 years ago, 3 years now, when we left the government, after the elections of 2022, I took up an assignment with the World Bank here in Washington, D.C. The nature of my assignment was such that I could not be allowed under the terms of service to come to town hall meetings like this. I kept quiet, looked out for some of my friends and my former classmates like Professor Otiso. So when you see him speaking here as a professor, that's how we were taught. That's how smart our class was. I mean, brag. Then, slowly we had this conversation about our country and so on and so forth. By last year, 2024, when demonstrations began that you guys saw, and the Gen Zs demonstrating, people asking questions. I mean, quite frankly, I began to get this pressure and questions from people. Why don't you go to public life? Why don't you come back and contribute? It became very serious. Sometimes, because I have gone home every time I had leave, because I didn't have a problem, I did not run away from my country. I never hide, bend or shark from responsibility. And I'm ready to answer questions anyone may have. So, I met people, and some of them people I take very seriously. Walk up to you sometimes, social places, restaurants, ordinary people. I had an experience where I went to Westlands one time to have coffee with some friends of mine. I couldn't even actually sit down and have coffee because everybody, the waiters, everybody come there, they ask me, CS, why don't you, tunazama, and so on, things, why are you doing this? Until it's now begun to look like I'm committing a crime if I'm not going to participate in what is going on. So when some of the faith-based leaders in our country, some of whom I respect a lot, say it, and all of you wonderful people will relate to this, that when people like Pastor Skora here or Imam Sadiq tell you they want to see you, they usually don't see people just like that. They usually are carrying a very heavy message because they are not ordinary people. You know who they speak for sometimes. So then they tell you, let us have a meeting. I met a number of them. They ask me now, CS, you disappointed us in 2022. We thought you were going to be on the ballot. You didn't go. So now, are you guys going to watch like this as the country goes out? So here's my first answer, Dr. Bogongo, to your questions. I am in this, and I decided after speaking to a lot of people and listening to some of you and others, that let me go and make my contribution to my country and take my experience and the years of service that I've had, the knowledge I have of government, and put my colleagues together, work together with them to try and fix some of the challenges we have in the country. So, as I stand here tonight, I bring you greetings from my colleagues whom I'm working with, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, who is in Texas right now. Sends his regards to you. The Honorable Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. Honorable Mother Karua, who was here a while ago. And my brother, my friend, and my colleague in cabinet, the Honorable Eugene Omalo. We've been having conversations among us ourselves and many other people, on so how do we go forward from here and what do we do for our country? And when you ask me, people are saying, who am I, where did I come from? There are people in this room, I have seen people here since I came to Minnesota. I grew up with, people I went to school with. I grew up in the village, walking to school, 5 kilometers in the morning, 5 kilometers for lunch, 5 kilometers back to school after lunch, and 5 kilometers back home in the evening. So that was like 20 kilometers a day. Because that is true. Prof, if you estimate the distance from my home to Manga Primary School is like 5 kilometers. And then I was there in primary school, we were together. I said last night I'm one of those people who does not need to go to court together in order to prove that I went to school. Because I'm not like some people in Kenya who claim, because when I was Minister for Education, I used to tell people, the easiest way to destroy a country is to begin with this rubbish about people who have got to go to court to look for court orders to prove that they went to school. Because if you went to school, how did you go to a school where you don't have a classmate, you don't have a teacher? And you are depending on a judge to make a ruling that you actually went to school. My friends, I want to tell you this. There is a way in which we have destroyed our country by this silly behavior, doing things that normal people don't do. Because you see, going to school is a black and white situation. You either went or you did not go. And I used to tell people, I am not the one who wrote the law. I believe that you can be a good leader even if you actually do not have a degree. But you wrote the law in Parliament and said for you to be governor, you actually need a degree. So respect the law. As it were, you wrote the law. Because that dishonesty is a subject I will go to another day. But I can tell you this. We've had people who have actually served as governors in Kenya who did not go to university. They bought papers, they carried papers, they went to court, got some order, bribed some electoral institution, and approved them. I was the Minister for Education when the Commission for University Education one time, a candidate presented a certificate, and please, I'm not religious leaders who are in the room, I am not looking down upon you. This guy had attended a conference of religious leaders somewhere in South America, and they gave him a certificate of participation in Spanish or Latin. Then he took it to IBC. Then they cleared him, said it's a certificate. I did a master. When later on they found a translator, they said no, it says certificate of participation. This is not a degree. That's why I'm telling you, one candidate for position of governor presented a PhD certificate that she couldn't even defend when someone asked her what was your thesis on? She said, what is her thesis? How would you have, I mean, I know we are innovators in Kenya, but some innovation is a joke, as it were. So, my brothers and sisters, so, Dr. Bogongo, that's the story of my life. Grew up with all these wonderful people you see here, Professor Otiso, going to Manga Primary School, and sometimes I tell media when they challenge me and Gen Zs were in the room, I didn't drop from Mars or from Jupiter. And I have lived this life, simple, what you see is what you get, straightforward, raised by parents who are, materially poor but very rich in spirit and love for us and commitment. The other day, I was telling some lawyers here in a room that, and there's the last thing I will say on that particular score, that one day I will tell the whole story in full length in my book when it comes out, that I would never have gone to school or I would never have finished school without my mother. My mother is the most patient person I have. Because this is interesting. Every day between, I think, standard 1 and standard 3, every single day I went to school, I lost my pencil. I frankly don't know how it got lost, but I lost it. Kefa is here, you can testify to that. I think in climbing trees, eating guavas in Mosoti's compound, and so on, somehow, I mean, it was some miserable thing you could not manage properly, it just gets lost. I didn't know what used to happen. And my mother worked hard. I mean, I don't know anybody in this world who's more patient. She would go to the market and sell milk, sell her wares. And every Sunday come home, she would go to the market twice a month. Once a fortnight, she would be at the marketplace. Then she buys a set of pencils. Then she comes and cuts each one of them into 3. Because she knows that I am actually going to lose that one. And every single morning, I don't know anybody more patient than that. Every single morning, she would sharpen one for me to go with to school. She tried all gymnastics to help me keep the pencil, including creating a hole here, on your collar. She cut my shirt and created a hole and told me, listen very carefully, when you're finished writing, put it back in there. When you climb the tree, it will not get lost, it will still be there. But I still lost it, I don't know, it's still disappeared. But there's no day I went to school without a pencil. She even made some string, made some marks around it, and tied the string, and tied it around my neck, and said, look, it will not get lost now. Even if you run, it will still be there. So come back with it in the evening. There's no day I went back home with a pencil. So that is how we grew up. I think the problem was, Kefa, if you remember, is the wabas in Mosoti's compound that were a problem. Because we would go to climb there during break time and so on, and then the damn thing gets lost and so on. But she did not stop giving me a pencil every day. So that we are humble. That's why when we discuss these things about the leadership of our country, about the future of our country, that we're moving forward, we mean it. I mean, it's from here. And now, I'll dedicate the next few minutes of my speech to the serious stuff, away from my troublesome peasant. Good people. About a year and a half ago, when I was about a few weeks old at the bank, I met a group of young economists, Kenyan young economists at the bank. They just bumped into me as we were having tea. And then the way people get excited when they bump into me in town, oh, since you're here, I said, yeah, I'm here. Really, you're the one here? I said, yeah, I'm not AI generated, it's me. We said, do you mind giving us a few minutes? No, we'd like to hear your story about public service. What do you think? I said, I have no problem. When do you want us to meet? We agreed to meet some day in the course of the week. and we were together for about 2 hours. Then they asked me, after all the stories are said and done, what are the 2 things you'd like us to learn even as we work here at the bank? I told them, 1, always part for your country, fight for your country. We may have whatever challenges we have at home, we have disagreements sometimes because of politics, but our country is our collective foremost responsibility. Love your country, don't talk your country down, because we must love our country. We have not come very far away from home to this place to talk our country down. Second, I told them the best thing you can do with your life, and I believe it, the best thing you can do with your life is touch someone. Go to your village, wherever you come from, Ranga, Kakamega, wherever it is. If there's an orphan child there who cannot afford this, save some of your lunch or whatever in the course of your stay here at the bank where you're earning dollars and pay fees for someone and affect the life of someone. And they should not be people related to you by blood or whatever. They should be people you know from your village or somewhere there. Contribute to shaping the destiny of another life. That's why God has put us here. So that then, Dr. Bogongo begins what I see basically as my vision and philosophy. We are here for service. None of us is going to live forever. We will not live eternally. Those days of biblical people like Methuselah and so on living 900 years are not there. We are going to be here for a short time. And while we are here, let us render service and serve fellow men. The greatest opportunity we have is to serve our country. And there's nothing more nobler than to be asked to serve your country. I had the privilege of serving my country in the position of cabinet minister, and every day for the 10 years I served, every single day I thank the Lord for the opportunity he gave me to come into contact with so many Kenyans. And as I told another group last night, every day is a very humbling experience, and every day drives you to an emotional point where you find meaning in human life by touching the life of another person. Whether it is, high school students. I've narrated stories about how I went to schools, and sometimes a student will tear through the security and almost grab me, like an experience that happened one time in a school in Nyanza, and tell me, we're going to be sent home. The administrator said we're waiting for the parents' day. I have fees arrears for the last 1 year. My mother died. My grandmother who has been supporting me also died last holiday. And I tell the headmistress, I will pay fees for this kid. Let her stay. I used to tell my cabinet colleagues, if they asked me to assist them together from one place for someone, I told them only one condition, that you pay fees for 2 people in that school. Then I will assist you. It's about service. I believe in service, delivering service to people. And that journey of life that I had in the public service was fulfilling and very exciting. And so, this is why I am having a listening conversation. So I answered your call, and the call of those many people who were asking me, sasa mbona tunazama. One religious leader I respect waited for me at the door of a hardware in Karen. I had bought some nails, I was going to fence something, I was on leave. I found this bishop waiting for me there at the door. And he said, CS, I was waiting for you. Oh, I said, Bishop, I didn't know you are here. Oh, I said, I'm here. I wanted to talk to you. Number one, you disappointed us in 2022. Why? We thought you were going to be on the ballot. I said, no, but we had 2 candidates. I said, now, okay, I want to tell you this, and it's a feeling of a lot of people I talk to. Would you consider running for public office? I said, you are a man of God, why don't we all pray about it? And then figure out what will happen. Because I can't give you an answer directly. I need also to consult and talk to other people. And I've been talking to people about this. I'm also responding to this call and responding to this advice and support so that I make a contribution in my life, in the service and in the development of my country. So, wonderful people. When the time comes, at the right time, when we move close, I ask you for your vote. But I don't stop there. I ask you to also hold me to account. If you are drawn enough to give me your vote, also hold me to account. Ask me questions. I like what the Gen Zs who are here were speaking. Means wonderful, clever kids. A country that is endowed like that, should we be killing these kids instead of listening to them, Jamal? Yeah? With this kind of brain, you saw here, brilliant. And this is what you see everywhere you go in the country. Very smart people, determined to contribute to their country, very patriotic. So we are at a very interesting time. You can see what is going on in the country. I don't want to describe our problems. I believe as leaders, we should not spend time describing our problems. We should be spending more time looking for solutions on how we fix our problems. I believe that in the case of the diaspora in our country, we cannot only love your money without your voice. We must now have your voice. We must have your voice. I have promised and I have undertaken, and you can hold me to account, that when I'm done with my consultation, National Assembly, Senate for that matter, but for county positions, the city of Nairobi, the city county, all of you are buying apartments and properties in Nairobi, you need to participate. But again, secondly, some of you people, some of your leaders, we are working together on this petition to IBC to increase polling stations in the US to up to 15 or 20, so that you guys can vote. Because honestly speaking, let me ask you a question. Sometimes we also have to be serious. I think that is what frustrates me about public life in our country. We have to be serious. How do you expect someone to fly from Houston to go and vote in Washington? Honestly, does it make sense? Let's be serious. And what is it? In fact, when I was talking to the Deputy Chief of Mission, because I took it seriously enough, that I rang up with the Deputy Chief of Mission here and I told him, my friend, we have to work together with fellow Kenyans. This is not rocket science, it's straightforward business. And these leaders, as we were discussing the other day in DMP, are willing to also negotiate with institutions, including the schools in their various areas, that will serve as polling stations, so that the cost on IBC will be lower. So all they need is an officer and a ballot box and the ballot papers, so that these people can participate in the choice of leaders in our country. We cannot come here and tell you how we love your remittances, but we don't care for your voice. We want to hear your voice. Please, as a diaspora, please work hard to ensure that your voice makes a difference, and it's hard. You are the ones who know the senators, the representatives. You are the ones who know the governors here. Some of you are working with these people. You know, we have a security compact with the US government, between Kenya and the US. It is you guys, some of you who now need to challenge the leaders, even here in Congress, to ask questions. Is your security assistance to Kenya being used against the lives of the people of Kenya? So that these matters are brought to the fore. Ask these questions. You are in a country where accountability is the way of public leadership. Please use that to help us. Fourthly, I love what was said here by one of our speakers this evening. Let us now systematize a mentorship and training program for Kenyans who are at home by the brain trust we have in the diaspora. A lot of wonderful work is going on. The other day I met a gentleman in, it's called Maura also, in Baltimore, who has a program of bringing Kenyan teachers to the US and having them train here. And some of them, because have gotten jobs here and have been able to stay, but they have created very strong partnerships. We are the foremost ambassadors of our country, and we are the foremost promoters of business with our country. I want to ask you, my brothers and sisters, let us now systematize how we get this institutional capability that we have by the numbers we have in the US to go back to our country so that we mentor, train, and help grow the talent that we have in our country. And there's much more we can do when we continue having this conversation and continue talking. In the next 8 months or 10 months, I'm going to spend time now at home having conversations, listening to Kenyans like I've listened to all of you since last night, and I've listened to Kenyans in Texas, I've listened to Kenyans in DMV, on what you would like us to do together. I am inviting you all to be part of all of us who are forming a community of believers in transforming our country, so that we work together to transform our country. The challenges we face, a good number of them are man-made. There is nothing wrong with our country, but there is something wrong with some of the management we have in our country and some of the decisions that we take in our country. I gave this example yesterday. How is it? And it's very clear that all of you guys know this. When President Kibaki was sworn into office, he introduced free primary education. 1 million kids walked to school. 1 million. In fact, you have seen the clips doing rounds where President Clinton says that if there is one person he wished to meet that time, it was President Kibaki. That a new president of Kenya who introduced free education and 1 million kids walked to school. By the time President Kenyatta came into office, Kibaki's children were now ready to go into secondary school. That is why President Kenyatta spent time on 100% transition. The late Professor Mangoa and I, a number of us, spent time in villages, building classrooms, fighting female genital mutilation, and ensuring that girls go to school. Everywhere where we had challenges, like in Kilifi, because of teenage pregnancies, I banned disco matanga because that nonsense where people go when someone has died, they go at night to dance. And then they say, oh, we must replace the one who's in the coffin tonight. It was silly things like those, which eventually affect our children. And we worked hard through the provincial administration. I remember, for example, George Natembea, the current governor of Trans Nzoia, a good friend of mine. Yes, he of the Tawe movement. Was first the county commissioner in Narok, then later regional commissioner in Rift Valley. We were terrorizing chiefs and assistant chiefs, telling a chief, if there is a girl who is going to be found in your jurisdiction who has not gone to school, you will pay for it. And drove these kids to school. Now, how is it that when we are supposed to be going forward, we want to go backwards? We reduced capitation from 22,000 to 16 or so, it's not even going to schools. And every day is excuses upon excuses, In fact, I would be forgiven if I described what we have in our country as government by excuses. It started with no, it is Uhuru and there is Tam. Then no, Israel and Asmio and I don't know who. Then now, ni Wakikuyu wanataka kuharibu serikali. As I said the other day, next year is going to be Wakizi, na Wakamba wanataka kuharibu serikali. So looking for someone to blame for things that we are supposed to be doing. Good people. We have challenges in our country. Some of them are man-made. Let us work on solving them. I am ready to lead the team to fix this problem. It's true. Because this is not geophysics, this is not rocket science. These are straightforward matters where we need honesty and trust to make the decisions. As I move towards the end of my remarks this evening, I want to remind you this. In 2022,
Mr. Six, I have a question.
Hold on a minute.
Thank you.
In 2022, we told a lot of people, I addressed meetings where people were asking me these questions and I told them, like I'm going to tell you today, because I have nothing to hide and you are my brothers and sisters. Yes. We either, stand up, be focused, and deal with the challenges in our country, or we will soon have no country. It's as simple as that. This pretense that we have had over the years, you know, where we are told lies, you know, we musumuko, wa ujeuli na uongo. And now season 2 of that is about to begin. Where, you know, people are flying around the country with helicopters every Friday, you know, in the form of empowerment. 9 helicopters this way, 9 helicopters that way, dramatizing things. Then they end up in a village, they give those poor people 64 shillings. That's not even $1. Even if you gave your mother $1, what would she do with it? Let's be serious. I mean, these jokes, our country is better than that. So that is why we are here. And I promise that working together, all of us, we will fix these challenges, bring about integrity to the management of public affairs, and also create trust. Kenyans are looking for a government they can trust. That a government that will tell you something you can take to the bank. Not a government that you are not sure what they tell you is going to work or not. Right. Finally, some of our public servants, and a good number of you have been in the public service before. We have some of the most hard-working public service, very professional, highly competent. I know it. I have worked with the public service before. I've given this example. For the entire time I was in cabinet, I worked with about 13 or so PSS. I mean, top-notch. Smart people, some of them Harvard, you know, were McKinsey consultants and so on. Smart people. They don't need a benevolent guy from heaven, you know, to come and give them lectures every day and dictate them on what they're supposed to be doing. They just need to be respected, be given an opportunity to move forward. And also merit, so that people are promoted because they are qualified to do the job they're doing. Not parachuting people left, right, and center because of the ethnic communities they come from. You know, collecting some political stillborns and assigning them responsibility to boss around public servants. And they spend time insulting public servants every day. We are the consultants, we are the advisors. And we have reinvented the way in which public service is supposed to be run. Yet actually public service is what holds our country together, as it were. So, my friends, when you look at the pay slips of the public service because of over-taxation and so on, even self-esteem is lost. Morale is gone. How will they deliver? That's right. We will fix this and return the morale of the public servants. We will respect public service and public servants and listen to them when they advise us on what we need to do. So, lastly, you've heard all these stories that you will hear from politicians. You know, when a country is going through challenges such as we are going, some of them crazily man-made, as I said. We're importing rice. Where farmers have got rice in the stores. You will wake up tomorrow morning, these same fellows will go to Western Kenya or someplace there and they will expect people to be singing and dancing for them. Cane farmers who have not been paid for decades, they are importing sugar. The factories are closed. Let's be honest about our country. Let us be very serious about the affairs of our country. And that is why my colleagues and I are engaged in this constant conversation. And I know that maybe before the end of the year or early next year, another one of my colleagues will come here and meet with you and continue this conversation. We want you to join us in the program and the journey of remaking our country. Don't be discouraged. I know things can go wrong. I know how it feels when you watch those pictures on TV of thugs walking side by side with uniformed police officers. You know? People shooting at members of parliament in broad daylight, and there's no crime they have committed. They are just going to a church and going to a rally. Can you imagine if the US behaved like that? We probably would not have been sitting here. As soon as the MC started, policemen walk in. They just start chasing us around. And there's nothing we have done. We have just met and danced. But I don't know why anybody should be unhappy about our dance. Now, those are the kind of things that we are dealing with. But do not lose faith. And people constantly dividing us. This is why I have refused personally, and we all reject, and I want to invite you to reject with me, and all of us well-meaning people, the idea of dividing us into tribes, into communities, and so on. We are not a congregation of tribes in Kenya. We are a nation called Kenya. And the challenges we have do not know tribe, they do not know region. People have challenges in Siaya, in Kisumu, in Kericho, and all over the place. So when people are raising these issues, they are not raising them because of their ethnic background. They are raising genuine, serious issues that we need to work on. I promise you that I am ready to make my contribution. I am ready to lead a team that will work on making our country and fixing our challenges. And I promise you, I'll keep my word. Hold me to account, ask questions. And if I am the one who's so blessed and so privileged to cross that bridge and be the one to be in that office, listening to these wonderful young people who spoke here, asking questions about what we are going to do to resolve some of those challenges like mental health. Half of the reasons why we have mental health problems in our country is because of the ecosystem and the environment in which we live. If you graduated 6 years ago, you have no job, your brother has no job, your sister has no job, your mom has no job, your father is earning a miserable salary, paying SHA, paying housing, a house you never go into. How will you remain sane? Masking, how will you remain sane? That's why we have these challenges. The anguish, our young people are going into these issues because of the challenges we have in the country. So the first solution to this problem is to fix the problems of the country, so that our young people, we can get investment into our country, we can get private sector involved in our investment and creating employment for our young people. Then we will deal with these challenges. Then their self-esteem will come back, their dignity will come back. And that is what I pledge to do and I would like to do. So that we build trust in a transparent government. Finally, I ask you to keep the faith. Do not be discouraged by these momentary challenges. By God's grace, we will cross that bridge together. And when we do, we will fix the challenges of our country. Have hope that the better days of our country are ahead. And I am asking that we all join together as we walk on that journey to a better future as a country where we will be united, live together, be transparent, build trust in our country again. My item number one, if I got that opportunity, to be beginning on a program of healing the nation. Yeah. Because our country is suffering from divisions, all this pain. But I believe it. I believe it in my heart. We will get there and we will solve these challenges together, and we will fix our challenges as a country. There is nothing we cannot do with the capacity that we have. There is nothing that Kenya cannot achieve when we are committed as we are all the time. So by the grace of God, let's keep the faith, stay on course, and I count on you for prayers, for support, and also for counsel and advice, and for holding me to account as we lead that trip forward. May God bless you.